Okay, this was probably before we attacked him at all. 6 items.
We march.
Okay.
The time is at hand.
This was when people were still dead.
Your orders? A brisk flight.
The path is set.
I got you.
I'll help however I can. I understand. That wasn't so tough.
Just a moment.
Gonna need a minute.
What would you ask? Very well.
Falling back then.
Morale soars.
I shall be your shield. Advancing,
I have arrived.
as you
I'm
ordered.
retreating for now.
Spirits are high. The day will be ours. The time is at hand.
Okay, I think I'm ready to try some shit.
The day will be ours.
267 now. Okay, meteor slash first second, leaving slash second. You've got... You don't have any multis. You had Sylphic Wind, which we took a condition off so that it can hit 3 times. I'm just gonna make that first action.
We march.
267.
Do you need a healer? I'll help however I can. Setting off.
Bro, come on. Come on!
Anything else?
Blood will
hope
fly.
I
shall try.
I'm right here. Here to help.
Okay. Did not even realize they were still moving.
I'm right here.
To me.
What is it? I'll do it. I'm retreating for now.
Another step on the law. I wield this lance for the people of Cornea. I advance.
Have you need of me? What would you ask of me?
What happened to this group?
Have you need of me?
They were able to do damage before, now they can't.
I
What
shall
happened?
not disappoint.
I stand ready.
We march.
Okay, Valorous.
Stronger
Fruits
than
of
ever.
this kindness shall come until my dying breath.
How many items do I
shall
have?
see it done.
6.
Until my dying breath. I shall see it done. Until my dying breath. By your
Okay,
royal
419.
I've arrived.
will, I stake my honor on this battle.
Here to help.
431 and only 47 damage taken. I'll take that.
Ready to move.
Still just seems to me like that math isn't adding up, you know?
Have you need of me?
I wield this lance for the people of Cornea. I shall see it done. I wield this lance for the people of Cornea. Until my dying breath.
'Tisn't my finest hour.
I'm deeply obliged. I shall see it done. A perilous foe bars my way.
We were doing so much better
I'm
before.
right here.
So apparently the healing was a problem. Fucking A. God, I hate this fight right now. This fight actually sucks. Okay, 290. That helps. Still, though, 278.
I shall not disappoint.
What happened with this group?
What would you ask of me? I shall not disappoint. What would you ask of me?
The time is at hand. We march.
Alright, well, I have to YOLO this a little bit.
The time is at hand.
Okay, you have Valorous Order on as well.
We march.
Whoa!
I wield this lance for the people of Cornea.
Honestly? Yeah.
I'll not yield.
Here to help.
We march. The time is at hand. We march.
I've got every buff I can possibly get right
Time's
now.
at
We've
hand.
used up all of our items.
As you command.
I shall not disappoint. What would you ask of me?
I'm throwing everything I got at this thing, man.
I shall not disappoint.
Is there any way to win him right now? Like, do I have to restart the entire map?
We march.
This is so frustrating. Okay, so he's not going to be doing this one at this point. He's just going to be doing Fallen one. Does that mean that the Affliction stuff is no longer a thing? Alright, so let's look at his order. He can use Fallen One, reduce all enemies' HP to 1, which means he probably can kill some people before we get through his stuff, which is probably why we're no longer being effective. So, what can we do? Is Rage of the Fairies currently... Yeah, Rage of the Fairies is currently our thing. She's 41. Does this help us? Not really.
We march. The time is at hand.
Okay, a little bit of extra chaos, but like we're still not doing enough damage. I've got 2 defense buffs with the sigils, which actually I don't know if it stacks, but we've also got the defensive draft and the empowering draft going, along with Valorous Order. All of that does nothing to help us here. Attack minus won't matter either because his ability just puts us at 1 HP. Honestly, in the second half, I wonder if we really do need a healer.
We march.
Alright, I think this is another reset. I've got no options.
'Tis a deficient plan.
I'm right here. Here to help.
Yeah, I think people are just dying before we can get the damage out. I think that's the issue. Okay, 192.
I'm right here. Here to help. I'm right here. Here to help.
The hour of reckoning is soon at hand, and none shall so cut me you.
You've crushed a continent beneath your heel. It ends... Forward!
What, we did 3 damage?
What would you ask of me?
This may prove perilous. 'Tisn't my finest hour.
Have you need of me? Ready anytime.
I shall overcome any odds. A minor inconvenience.
Vexing indeed.
And thus I arrive. I
Okay,
appear
this is
to be
another
in range
failure.
of them.
Face me and be cut down. I shall not shy from battle.
I'm pleased with this.
Forgive.
Stay in here for now.
How shall I proceed?
I'm at a loss, man. I may have to go back even further. So what? We had 6 items left there. How many do we have here? Did we use
May the heavens guide us.
8? Man, I was having fun until we got to Garious. I'm gonna take a break. This is probably where we need to pick it up from, though. And then as we take this over, I don't know, I have to figure out a different build makeup for some of my characters. The thing is that since he changes once he hits 50%, whatever I set up for the first half doesn't really apply for the second half. And so I don't really know how to plan for it, because I don't know. Well, at any rate, we'll have all but 2 items from here. We will collect as much valor as possible as we move through this. And then we'll just have to take it from there, I guess. I don't know. But I need a break, so I'll be back. Alright, I'm back with the new team makeup. Basically what I did is I reloaded that one save. I had to use 2 items, if I remember correctly. I had to use the Hallowed Corn Ash in order to cleanse, because he pops off right after we load our save. And then Unify's group over here was in a waiting state, so I used one of the golden hourglasses to basically reduce her time. I sent a bunch of units back to base in order to try and set up whatever team I could that could do something to this guy. Right now, this is what I've got. Here's the thing, though. Once we get past half, I don't know how it's going to change. I don't know if this is going to work the same way. I'm assuming that Rage of the Fairies is going to stop him from being able to use his shield, because it stuns him right away. I've got Prim here because of her refresh, to get rid of poison. I brought in Unify because Unify just seems to be really strong. Also, her Snow White Strike, if he does get attacks, if she counterattacks with that, she might be freezing him and stopping him from being able to attack us more, which I'm assuming is why we're not getting hit a lot right now, which is what I'm hoping for. I also had to give her a Sapphire Pendant and a Ruby Pendant because she only had I think she had 3 passives and 2 action points. And so I just switched people to get her maxed out. I brought in Fran because she can still AP and she does extra effectiveness against cavalry. You know, I wonder which would be better. Right now let me just see this real quick, if this high swing is first. I just want to see what happens if we do more damage. We do more damage. And we still take 0. Okay, maybe that's better. Because it's effective against cavalry, whereas Aerial Smite, even though it takes away AP, it seems like we've got other options for that. I should also see if Cavalry Slayer being on the top helps us more.
The time is at hand.
424? And what was it before? 424. That one doesn't seem to be changing it much.
We march.
Okay.
The time is at hand.
But once he starts doing his other one that takes us down to 1 HP, I think everything's going to change. Just so you know, right now I also have an Empowering Draft on me. So also keep that in mind. I have to figure out...
To me. The time is at hand.
Okay, I want you out.
Let me hit something.
Simply because we can do attack call.
Victory is over.
What would you
You're
ask
already out, so we can still do guard call.
I'm grateful for the support.
Is there anybody else we need out? I could try adding... Hold on, let's pull Gilbert out.
The Cornian militia fights on. Who's my target?
Now, if you're already max AP, does this even work, active order? I don't know if it does. I did save right before I started recording, so I can go back if this doesn't work, but can we... have more than the 4? I don't actually know.
We march. Onward. Your villainy ends here.
I'm here too.
Maybe I should have as many people as possible out there doing assists.
The time is at hand.
Empowering draft again.
Do you need something?
I don't know which is going to be the better assist. Let's check his stats. I think he's probably pretty balanced, if I had to guess. He does have a little bit more magical defense.
Got the sting of a scorpion.
My moment has finally come. I'm listening. Of course.
I don't know if they'll be close enough right now.
By my divine bow.
Just say the word. This'll be fun.
I could have spread out Yana and Liza into this group so that we had this, but...
By the grace of the Holy Unicorn.
You face me.
Let me help.
Need a hand?
I'll support you.
Okay, this next one will be the decider. I think. If he's changed drastically, we can... Oh my god, we found a build. Oh my gosh. I was like getting really close to just being like, you know what? I've spent the entire game not looking up builds online, but like, I was gonna do it. The break was a good call, because that's kind of where I was at. Like, literally, I slept last night, woke up this morning, had some coffee, watched a couple YouTube videos, and then came and was like, all right, we're not going to go back to that previous save. We're going to try and figure out a build that will work for this. And the thing that I was worried about is the second half we weren't going to be able to have the build still work. But, like, it just goes to show, like, you think about it for a second, you're like, okay, well, bringing in Aramis didn't make sense if we're using the stun on Rosalinda, which I think is what's happening here. And actually, we should watch it and make sure that it's functioning the way that we think it is. But I believe that Rosalinda's starting ability stops him from doing his shield, but he still has that ability that can poison us, which is where Prim comes in. She can heal us, as well as get rid of poison. Unifie's just like, I figured, you know, she's just a good unit. It seems like she can always do high damage. If she can get her attacks off, she gets high damage. And then I was like, well, Fran, she has some cavalry stuff. And then I just needed to tweak the tactics. So, all right. Thinking about it does work, even when you are frustrated, which I definitely was. Okay, let's do this. There is a distinct possibility that this does not end this map.
Come then.
And with that being the case, I'm not going to have all of these assists join in, because we may need the stamina.
You've crushed a continent beneath your heel, oppressed its people, trampled its fields, yet still you claim to deserve its crown. It ends today, Garious. Now perish in the light of Evereth Pure.
I'll strike first.
Okay, there's our stun to start it. Cavalry Slayer. Yeah. And then froze. Yep. That freeze attack that follows up.
Won't hold back.
And when he came out of freeze, he was still technically stunned, right?
The wind is ours.
I don't think... Did that one freeze him too? It did. We've stun locked him. That's what we've done.
Aim
If she has enough passives, then she just continually stun locks it. You know, considering that, her initiative being a little bit lower is good. I actually got rid of a dove plume that made her initiative higher in order to get her more AP and PP. And honestly, that was good because Glacial Rain would have kept her from doing those freezes. Like, literally, he just can't attack us. Like, he's wasting all of his AP and passive points getting out of all of these. Like, he's already down to 1 and 1.
Got some arrows for you.
Yeah, incapacitated. Huge, dude. We're... Oh, I see what's happening. We're stealing his AP with our abilities. I think he might be losing them with some of his stuns, but... Oh, that's good. It was actually working better than I had it in my head.
In His Highness's honor. I think I've gotten a little better at this.
Compiler of classes. Registered all classes in the class registry.
Garious, Emperor of Zenoira. Your ambitions are laid bare, and your empire in ruin.
If you hope to speak, you'll find me no willing participant. I have no words for you. End this. Now.
Is this the one we're supposed to do?
Garious, you saw in Fevrith's innocent people mere vessels to house your own fallen empire. But as long as I live and breathe, you'll never inflict such callous devastation on our world.
How do you know of that?
Piteous ghost of an age long past. I shall grant your soul the freedom it desires.
You will not!
Okay, this is where those abilities come in, huh?
Drop your guard, Alain.
My brethren were robbed of their corporeal flesh, left to wander in the void of nothingness for 800 years. Their pain is my strength, and my body, their fury given form. While the souls of Zenoira remain trapped in the beyond, their emperor shall never know defeat.
Your Majesty.
I was wondering when Baltra was gonna... because we didn't see him in the fight.
How goes the right?
Flawlessly. We lack but a single soul to complete the spell.
Then these insects shall be more than enough. Grant me your strength, and we'll stamp them out together.
You're welcome to try, but I promise it won't be as easy as you might think.
What do you think you're doing?
Dude, is he betraying him?
Apologies if I wasn't clear, Your Majesty. The last soul the sigil seeks is none other than yours.
Traitorous fool. Finally gone senile.
Bro!
You, Mother?
I knew we were going to see her before the end of the game, but what the hell? I'm trying to figure out why. Maybe she won. Maybe in the beginning cutscene she actually defeat... what was his... Valmore? That was his original name before he was taken over by Garious? So maybe she beat Valmore, and because of that, Baltro put the soul into her instead. That's a clever way of doing it. Mama Alenia. What's up, girl?
Your Majesty. But how? Mother!
Don't worry, she's stable.
Speak to me, please.
Her vocal cords must be shot after talking like that all these years.
Fought valiantly, Elenia. But this battle has reached its conclusion.
Yeah, she won.
You're wrong.
What a
And I
badass.
shall have your head for thinking otherwise. Your hubris was the end of you, Valmore. What sorcery is this?
Do you see now the futility of your struggle? By cutting me down, you have doomed yourself to a life reborn as my new vessel.
Madness. How does Valmore yet live?
He doesn't. The man was a simple human, undeserving of the glorious soul of an emperor.
Name yourself at once!
I am Baltro, sorcerer of the great and storied Zenoran Empire.
I mean, the second they cut away without seeing her get cut down, I was like, yeah, she's coming back.
The very empire whose armor was passed through Valmore's family for generations on end. And it was I who bound our emperor's soul to that armor.
I can't move.
So it's true. The Cornian royal family bears the blood of the maiden. No matter. Your feeble flesh shall now play host to Garious, ruler of all creation.
Does this also imply that there were other people underneath the other armors? I mean, that would make sense, but... Unclear.
I never imagined he possessed such frightful mastery over the bodies of others.
I guess the only way for them to have a corporeal form is through possession, so they would have to have had taken over somebody else, right?
Alain, I can't say how much time has passed since that day, but you've grown so much. If only I could have been there to witness it. It seems I owe Joseph a great deal for raising you in my absence.
Well, Mom, meet my hot wife. She's an elf.
The sigil is complete, and the gate to the beyond stands open and true.
So I was kind of right. Baltro kind of is the big bad. I was like, he's more of a presence in this game than Garious was. Sketchy motherfucker. Ugh.
Rise, prisoners of the Unicorn's curse, spectral phantoms from an ancient time. You shall be the first to perish by my newfound strength.
Joseph, see my mother somewhere safe.
And you, Your Highness?
We end this long-drawn war, here and now.
I'll be with you arm in arm through every breath of it.
Come home, both of you.
So had we not learned all of the stuff that we learned in order to learn how to, you know, sever his soul from this world or whatever we're doing, I'm wondering if the only option would have been to cut him down and we would have killed our mom along the way. Okay, so the question is, do we have a new map, or do we continue on the old map? What's happening here? Don't you understand, boy? Your end has already been written. I'll not hear another word about your madness. Come, the final battle is upon us. Okay. Alright, we messed up all of our builds to get here. Whole bunch of our unit setups are completely boinked, so... let's see. But we're starting fresh here. They give us 10 Valor to work with. How is our unit doing? $1,900 damage to us. Is that all? Oh, it's got all of them in it. Okay. The Unicorn's Wrath. Harness the Zenoiran souls, denied a merciful death. By the curse of the Unicorn, attacks all enemies. I wonder if this is fake. I mean, look at this. Magic potency is 999. I wonder if once we fight him with this unit...
The time is at hand.
Oh, look at that. We only have 2 stamina, so it's not a complete reset. It just threw everybody back in here, and that's why we got 10 Valor, I think.
We march.
So hold on, if I go and deploy... No, I think it healed everybody up at least, so it's kind of like a reset. But yeah, man, a bunch of our teams are going to be completely screwed up. I love that we've just got this random Hairman's unit now. We got Hairman, and we've got Nigel. We can't move them around, right? Oh shit, we can. Weird. Okay. So if we wanted to, we could throw Nigel into a different group. So here's the thing, if they can do 999, then that's completely, like, messed up, right? So obviously, it's gonna be... we need to put your Celestial Light on somewhere. Activates before an ally is attacked with question marks. Unleash its true power amidst a sea miasma. That probably blocks Unicorn's Wrath. That's going to be the skill that it blocks. Is it daytime right now? If not, then we can lose diurnal. How do I check in a fight what time of day it is? I don't really know what time of day it is. Oh, look, the clock continues from where you left off too, so you do have to be very aware of that. Okay.
This rose bears thorn. Have you need of me?
shall be done.
Okay, you're a support unit. I'm gonna want to kill you before you can get too close.
The time is at hand. To me. We march.
Can this unit hold down this fort?
For a fight. Your call.
Not really. Okay, you know what? I think we're just... No, we need Curing Heal. That's too useful. Diurnal, when it's working, is really useful too. But we're still getting stuff from that, so we'll lose Diurnal. We'll take Celestial Light. Okay, does that... It does factor into this. Okay, cool. Honestly, should we just try and end this? Because it looks like we're doing okay.
On it.
Okay, I want a unit with a healer that can do assist heals.
Got the sting of a scorpion.
Let me hit something. On it.
My moment has finally come.
Let me hit something.
Now, does their assist ring have to be where the ally is, or will it work if... Or does it have to be, It's wild that I'm on the final map asking this question.
By my divine bow. Have you need of my skill? Departing at once. My wings shall take me. Pass down your mandate. I make haste.
I shall not falter. By the star's guidance. What would you ask of me? By your command.
You face me.
For all of Pastorius.
I've still got quite a few items, right? Oh, nope, I'm out. Okay, that means I'm going to need
I'll make my mark.
your Valor. It's going to be 2 of our 4 left.
Stronger than ever. The time is at hand. Onward.
I'm gonna have to save before doing this, because... Alright, are we finally on... Yeah, we're on 99. Let's see. $97 was pretty much a bust, so I'll overwrite 97 there.
I shall not shy from battle. The winds of fate blow at our backs.
Okay, let's get rid of this guy's assist.
Setting off.
Awaiting further instruction. I've known
Me? Bold of you to stand.
I don't
found it be
don't
shown.
believe
Like
me.
bold of you to stand against me.
I shall not falter.
On my...
I blossom.
I'm even better than Clive now.
So did I check the wrong one? Because I...
The time is at hand.
No, there we go. Weird.
The path is set. Come then.
So they do need to be in range of the enemy you're attacking.
I can heal.
But hey, that will help. Let's do it.
The futile struggle of a rebellion damned. Your end draws near, Cornian whelp. Cease these fatuous endeavors and return to nothingness unending.
Many times you've tried, Baltro, but you shall never break our spirit. I promise you that. Now prepare to be vanquished by the might of Febrit!
This time, Vinisa, no harm will come to you.
Yeah, that's my girl.
Half-wit.
Let's begin.
Yes. Decay.
I'm here to help.
A gift.
You'll be okay.
Yeah, Prim is great for these, actually.
Unicorn, grant me strength!
Oh, nice. So you can use the Astral Blade on all of these guys. I thought it was just going to be on Baltro.
Freeze!
Agony awaits!
Vermin.
Have some of this. Steady.
My power, see!
Not bad. Got some arrows for you.
Hell yeah.
Right?
Unicorn, grant me strength!
My end has come.
Frontline gone.
I won't hold back. Aim and...
To the depths with you!
Steady.
Ready to die.
Healing you. That must have hurt.
He didn't use, oh, he doesn't have any passives. That's why he didn't use any of the passives. I was like, why does he have 4 passives? He only has that one ability. Oh, your regen isn't nearly as good as big old Garious was. Okay.
I don't know. I don't think I fear.
Your strength's not everything. Too weak.
You face me.
I'll strike first.
Unicorn, grant me strength!
Well,
Cool off. Let's have some fun. Have some of this. The wind is ours. Freeze. Got some arrows for you.
Unicorn, grant me strength!
That'll probably finish it.
Fine job!
Higher still.
Victory grows ever closer.
Oh, sweet, a Carnelian pendant.
Whilst I still feast on the souls of Zenoira, my might is eternal.
Do you not seek their resurrection?
A witless ideal, born of the fool Garious.
Okay, what's your goal then?
He served his purpose well enough in prizing open the gate to the beyond. And now, he shall be consumed like all the rest. What's more, there would be little benefit in reviving mere humans.
Do the souls of your brethren mean nothing to you?
That's fuel for my magic, most certainly. What primitive evil should I reanimate next, I wonder? A monster capable of crushing Fevrith beneath its heel, perhaps?
If it's a monster you're after, just look in a mirror.
Spirits of Zenoira, hear my call. Your Emperor is no more, and in his place, a tyrannical fiend who craves nothing but absolute control. Tell me, is this what you truly desire? To sacrifice your very essence in service of this demon?
Pathetic child.
Souls of the departed, if you've any humanity left within you, lend me your aid!
Oh! Their strength is leaving me! You've ruined everything! Accursed fool!
These souls are not a power one can wield, Baltro. They are human lives. Human will in its purest form.
Impossible! The sigil's very nature has been recast! How is this happening?
It appears we arrived just in time.
This isn't how my tale concludes. I won't allow it!
The only escape awaiting you, Baltro, is death's cold embrace.
Wretched disciples! You dare turn on your master!
The time has come again.
Let us lift the curse of the Unicorn, and bring the salvation of heaven to these lost souls!
Gladly.
Annihility beckons. All of my knowledge, all of my research, lost to the endless emptiness of time.
Oh, damn. Okay. Brutal. I like it. Baltro got what he deserved. He's a piece of work.
You have our eternal gratitude on behalf of every Zenoiran soul to have ever lived.
So the sages are Zenoiran too. They just weren't corrupted? Like most of them were? It's a lot of new archive entries. The Light of Fevrith. Okay, shattered Baltro's foul ambitions and liberated Fevrith for all time to come.
Ah, there you are. Your coronation is set to commence at any moment.
A word first, if I may. With the much-awaited fall of Zenoiran rule, we've finally attained our most coveted dream. 'Twas a vow I made to the ring itself. A promise fashioned out of steel and blood. Yet, Can a champion tempered in the flames of war truly lead in times of peace?
From the day of its very inception, Your Highness, the Liberation Army has boasted a singular gift. Its ranks bore nobles, sellswords, and civilians alike. Disparate nations united as one under a common banner. Your banner. None could ever question the strength of such a leader.
He speaks the truth, you know.
Should you not be sound in bed right now?
And miss the day my son is crowned king? I wouldn't so much as dream of it.
I have a hot
Alain,
mom.
You stand before me a man full grown. One who will rule these lands with compassion and love. Just as you've done for all those who fought beside you. Be proud, my son. Not only of what you accomplished, but how you've made it so.
I will, Mother. Thank you both, from the depths of my heart. Now then, a radiant future for Cornea awaits.
So,
Year 906 of the Hallowed Chronicle. Thus, with all of Fevrith as his witness, a bold young king ascended the throne. Ere long, the scourge of Garious and ancient Zenoira would be little more than footnotes on the pages of history. And those scars of war yet blighted the land. Its people, awed and inspired by Cornea's noble ruler, began their arduous trek down the path to recovery. Forevermore would the Chronicles of Fevrith extol the Savior Alain's sacred journey, a legend only embellished in the generations to come. That of a divine beast and a liberator king that bore its name. The Unicorn Overlord.
that's the name! We knew it was coming. What a great game. Instant classic right here. Instant classic. Well done, Vanillaware. So their last game, 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, definitely more story focused, right? And then the tactics layer, the gameplay layer, definitely was a little bit underbaked in my opinion. So it feels like they went full hog on the gameplay in this one. And definitely the story is simple, right? The story is simple, but it is effective. Could they have gone further? Absolutely. But did it fall short? Not really. Like, they did enough. They did enough, and like, I think that the biggest thing, even if they have a simple story, they rounded out the world. They made an actual world, you know? And the world feels lived in, it feels like it has a history, and that's half of the battle, I feel like, with a lot of games like this, is that even if the writing is, you know, simple, so to say, the plot is, you know, pretty bare bones, it does just enough to keep you moving forward, but it gives you those hooks that you need and those characters that really, really drag you along. That was the important part, right? And that's something that kind of was a failure of Fire Emblem Engage, which came out last year. A lot of people, when I didn't like that game's, you know, writing and stuff, they're like, well, it wasn't supposed to be that deep. It wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be simple. And I'm going to point to this game and say, no, this is what good, simple writing looks like. Engage didn't do that. This game did do it. They did it effectively. And this kind of proves that simple does not have to equal bad. And that's what I tried to argue when Engage came out, and I'm so glad that this game came out shortly after that to work as a counterpoint to that game. Because a lot of people argued with me, they weren't focused on the story, all of that. That's this game. This game is good and didn't focus on the story necessarily, but still did an effective enough job that it was still pulling me along, keeping me interested, giving me the hooks that were necessary, making interesting characters, and not completely relying on tropes. Obviously, it's full of tropes, right? This game is full of tropes, Engage was full of tropes, but the way that you use the tropes are going to be very, very different between the two, and I feel like this one did it the right way. But yeah, I'm interested to know what other people thought. Obviously, gameplay-wise, this is like a masterclass in, it's a masterclass in progression, I feel like. The unit progression, just slowly building up those unit sizes as you go, like, the world map stuff, like, all of it is just so effective. And it really does pull you along. I feel like the world map was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Going around collecting things, slowly and uncovering the map, doing the missions, and literally you are liberating the entire continent, each continent one by one. After the war, Lex left rule for Cornea to Alain and set forth to hone his mastery of the blade. Whenever he encountered former allies on his travels, he and they would spar just as they did during their prior days with the Liberation Army. Though there was great distance between him and Alain, let's turn off the auto. Though there was great distance between him and Alain, their bond of friendship remained strong as ever, and Lex swore to brandish his sword for his king should the need arise. Alright, let's go through these. Oh, there's gonna be a lot of these. Isn't there like 60 plus characters that we had recruited by the end? Chloe. With the war concluded, Chloe chose to serve Alain as his chief lady-in-waiting rather than return home to her family in Cornea. In this role, she oversaw the domestic needs of the kingdom, though she never kept her spear far from hand in case of crisis. At times, she could be seen reminiscing with her old friends at the Knights' Barracks, a practice which Alain himself would join when the ideal moment presented itself. Yeah, we'll keep talking about this game a little bit once we get through these. This music, though. Hodrick. After the war, Hodrick was granted a post as captain of the Cornean Royal Guard, a role which saw him dedicate great attention to the growth of his soldiers and to their unshakable unity. At times, he and his mentor Joseph partook in intense sparring bouts, which never failed to draw onlookers to the training hall. Joseph, though offered the role of Chancellor due to his immense efforts in protecting the prince and shepherding the liberation to victory, Joseph declined and instead chose to see out his days as the new king's personal blade. Ever a stern leader, he worked tirelessly to train the soldiers that would serve as Cornea's new guardians and ensure the kingdom would remain safe long after his eventual passing. Renal. Renal returned to the land he had once ruled under Zenoira's magic, and though some would never forgive his cruel treatment, others came to see the sincere regret with which he earnestly faced his resentment. His commitment towards starting anew saw him grow into a fine leader, with an eye ever focused on the future, unhindered by the tragic failings which plagued his past. Clive, where is your wife? Clive. Declining a position within the Royal Guard, Clive returned to the province of the Ashen Blue and begun work on establishing a new form of self-governance with his fellow knights. His bold philosophy, which espoused the virtues of collective rule over a single authority, soon spread throughout the province from the knights of its order to the farmers in its fields. Hey, where's your wife, Clive? Where's Monica? Adel. After the war, Adel returned to the province of the Ashen Blue, a decorated hero, beloved by fellow knights and townsfolk alike. His bright demeanor saw him remain ever popular, playing with local children during the day and partaking in revelry at the province's lively taverns at night. In the end, he chose to live out his days as a beloved knight in the company of his people. Berenice. When the Liberation disbanded, Berenice set out to travel Cornea and hone her skills, hunting bandits and aiding in the reconstruction all the while. Years later, she was welcomed back to the province of the Ashen Blue, where she chose to settle down and become an instructor in the military arts, thus giving rise to the mightiest army the province had ever known. I do wonder... Wait, Monica? I do wonder if we had to, like, get the rapport maxed out to have, like, Clive and Monica hook up again. Rolf. His role with the Liberation concluded, Rolf's reputation as a brave hunter earned him a post as a guardian of Cornea's forests. This duty saw him not only defend the land from wild beasts and poachers, but tend to the natural bounty of the region and heal the scars of battle inflicted across the woodlands. Such benevolent deeds brought him nigh endless praise from the people he served. Morden. After the war, Morden abandoned his life as a mercenary and lived as a humble stonemason. While the reconstruction of Barbadamo was his first priority, he eventually turned his gaze toward the pursuit of aesthetics and the creation of ever more elaborate architectural projects. The stunning facades which lined the main thoroughfare of his home, thus given the name Morden Road upon his eventual passing, were beloved by all for generations to come. Auk. Upon reading off a list of his accomplishments with the liberation at his mother's graveside, Auk departed on a journey of fervent magical research, never to return to his homeland again. The theses he enumerated later in life came to be treasured as a comprehensive compendium for hopeful sorcerers who as of yet lacked the requisite background in magical arts. Jeremy. After the war, Jeremy quietly departed from the Liberation and returned to his life as a mercenary, where no matter the danger he found himself in, his quick wit and years of experience always saw him to safety. Upon completing a particularly lucrative job with a few old faces from the war, he and his men drank an entire tavern dry and were thus written the pages of mercenary legend. What a dude. Well done, Jeremy. Okay, Knights of the Rose. Miriam. With Cornea restored, Miriam was named Captain of the Knights of the Rose, a role which saw her dignified air and indisputable military prowess earn her the adoration of rising female knights, both within her nation's borders and abroad. With a newly placed emphasis on collective strength, the Knights of the Rose quickly grew to be one of the most coveted orders in the land. Keitra. After the war, Keitra continued to serve in the Knights of the Rose while also taking up a post guarding the people of Grand Corinne. Whenever trouble struck, she and her hammer were always quick to the scene, much to the delight of onlooking citizens. As a skilled craftswoman, she also aided in rebuilding the city and enjoyed unique popularity amongst the local children due to her sharp wit and fiery attitude. Fran, though her efforts in the war saw Fran offered a commanding role in the Knights of the Rose, she politely declined, stating that she preferred to stand as an equal rather than a superior. Retaining this status granted her the latitude to charge into battle to rescue her allies at a moment's notice, a fact which all who knew her agreed was for the best. It's how we met her. I like that it moves around the map too, that's kind of cool, to go to their locales. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay, Melisandre. With peace returned to Cornea, Melisandre slipped past Elaine's watchful advisors day after day in order to request his hand in marriage. While her wish never came to pass because he was married already, the beauty and vigor of her spirited blade were the highlight of many a royal banquet, and thus stole the hearts of countless guests. She's like, please, please, either marry me or make me a consort. I don't care which, just bed me. And Elaine's just like, I ain't no simp, bro. Step back. Step back. Rosalinda's my girl. Colm. After the war, House Maillet began to reclaim its former glory, a pursuit that Colm enjoyed even more than his Lady Melisandre herself. Though she had always posed him an array of challenges, the fact that Cornea's new king was the object of her affection presented an endless struggle for her faithful steward. Monica? In light of Monica's deeds with the liberation of the noble house, Nordheim's name was restored to its rightful place of honor and respect. Her calm demeanor, stately dedication, and moral clarity earned her the fierce support of her people, a groundswell which only grew after her grandfather's passing. While she bore great commitment towards helping her people, she never forgot to honor her vassals in the annual Stargazing Festival, which she herself was responsible for creating. And she married Clive, of course. He's right there. Come on, address it. Fine. So they probably didn't want to do multiple inputs depending on whether or not Alain gave the ring to one of these people, so they probably just ignore most of the relationship stuff. But who knows, maybe we'll see. Aramis and Prim here, we maxed them out. We got to their final thing, so maybe we'll see something here. Aramis. After the war, Aramis saw to it that Gilbert was crowned king and left Soldraga to support his brother in the restoration of Drakenhold, taking the guise of a mercenary, a stage actor, a sailor, and much more along the way. In the centuries to follow, local legends throughout the nation told of a host of men named Aramis who appeared to help when the land seemed to be at its most vulnerable. With the war concluded, Hilda laid down her spear and pursued an expertise in medicine, so that she might aid those who still suffered. After years of ardent study, she became an apothecary and joined Prim in caring for the sick and infirm through Fevrith. Forevermore would history speak of the countless lives she and her sister saved astride her gallant, loyal wyvern. Similarly, Prim's attention Similarly, Prim's attention turned after the war towards the ailing peoples of Fevrith, and supporting Hilda's dogged pursuit of medical knowledge however she could. Her work caring for the infirm eventually led the Orthodoxy to bestow upon her the title of Honorary Angel, an accolade which Prim could only humbly decline. I do prefer it when games make canon relationships. It always makes the game richer, and I feel like this game did that, but they're not committing here in the end, which is a little bit disappointing, but that's a small disappointment. We can read between the lines, and we know that, Prim and Aramis, yeah. We can conclude that Clive and Monica, yeah. So, Albin. With the war concluded, Albin donated his earnings to the people of Drakenhold's desert and took up the task of rebuilding his home. Soon enough, towns in the region grew prosperous indeed, and the land once known for its crime and banditry began to flourish in true under Albin's benevolent leadership. After years in the desert, he acquired a ship and sailed the oceans in search of new ventures. Magellan set out to reunite his old band who had scattered across Drakenhold, after which he returned to the desert and announced them as a group of reformed, chivalrous thieves. Tales of their virtue spread even beyond the desert's borders, attracting a horde of young aspirants looking to join their ranks. As the band's numbers continued to grow, their keep became a vibrant settlement that saw steady progress under Magellan's guidance. After the liberation disbanded, Liza joined Magellan on his journey and met an influential trader along the way, whom she impressed with her sharp tongue and keen business acumen. While she had always been skilled in the ways of trade, she was able to build a far more profitable enterprise than she ever imagined with the funds she earned during the war. She then used her wealth to bolster the desert's economy and improve the lives of all within. With the war concluded, Gilbert appointed Gloucester as ruling lord over the desert. There, he worked with Albin to better conditions for the people of the dunes and champion them from a position of authority. His benevolence and unshakable sense of duty earned him the adoration of his citizens, who erected a statue depicting a Gloucester atop his loyal steed after his eventual passing. After the war, Amalia returned to Baumrat and shattered her undefeated streak atop its rankings, yet despite her assured victory, the crowds never failed to cheer her on. Upon her eventual defeat many years later, she rejoiced to have met another warrior as fearless as she, and at Amalia's urging, the two set forth towards new horizons. Ren. After the war, Ren reformed the Tricorn mercenaries, and the band was offered a new role as a Drakenhold Order of Knights. However, they chose to decline, and the mercenaries traveled the world, Fighting for the downtrodden and less fortunate, in the years to come, history would speak of their brave endeavors, and all who lived in Fevrith would know the Tricorn name. As a central figure in the reformed Tricorn mercenaries, Bruno found himself instrumental to the band's renewed efforts. Ever striving to become Ren's equal on the field of battle, he easily gained the trust and respect of his fellow mercenaries, though his immense strength meant skirmishes ended before others could earn even the slightest glory. After the war, Travis traveled the world with the reformed Tricorn mercenaries, proving both his skill and intellect along the way. As a lover of literature, an uncommon trait among mercenaries, he always brought rare and valuable tomes to add to his expanding library whenever work led him home. Poor Leah got benched pretty early, didn't she? After the war, Gilbert was coronated as the new king of Drakenhold and immediately made a name for himself as a savvy ruler. Long had he chased his brother's shadow, yet now he stood in a light of his own making, one which filled the people with hope and joy. In years to come, history would sing his praises as a heroic king who single-handedly delivered his land from the all-consuming ashes of war. With the war concluded, Virginia received a proposal of marriage from the newly crowned King Gilbert, an offer she gladly accepted. As a representative of Cornea and Drakenhold, hold on. So, I mean, they went there with these two, okay. I mean, good for them. It's probably because she was a family member of Alain, so that they could commit to it without the unicorn ring being an issue. Or the Maiden's Ring being an issue. So with the war concluded, Virginia received a proposal of marriage from the newly crowned King Gilbert, an offer she gladly accepted. As a representative of Cornea and Drakenhold both, she was beloved by both nations for the strides she made towards goodwill and unity. Over the years, her bold demeanor and skillful blade work earned her the love and adoration of countless fervent admirers. Leah. After the war, the relationship between Cornea and Drakenhold was mended at last, and Leah officially entered Virginia's service. When her lady gave birth to a royal heir some years later, Leah surprised the court by doting on the newborn prince even more than his loving parents. When the prince grew old enough to wield a sword, Leah served as his stern yet kind master. We don't get anything for the big knight guy who came and helped us. I wonder if he wouldn't have joined the fight had he dropped in that fight in the Drakenhold capital. Remember, I think he was the one who was the spy in their midst, right? And so I wonder if he would have died in that fight if he wouldn't have shown up. So we saw somebody from each nation join that fight, except for Elheim. I wonder if there was something that we could have done in Elheim to get somebody to join that last fight. We were able to recruit somebody on the Bestral side using, what's-her-face? I'm blanking on her name right now. The Fox Girl. We got... I'm blanking on everybody's name. We got the knight from Drakenhold, and we got the one guy from the angel place. I'm blanking on everything today. My brain stopped working. Anyways, I turned my brain off today, so don't worry about me. But we didn't get anybody from Elheim. Alright, after the war, Celeste continued her work leading the local Elheim militia, swooping down from the skies to aid a townsperson in danger or provide relief to an injured soldier. One person rescued by Celeste later started a business by which his customers could travel to the sites of Fevrith atop a noble griffin, a venture which he named after his savior. I'm gonna lose my voice by the end of this. After the war, Yana brought her powerful magic to bear as Cornea's court sorceress. Towards the end of her life, she tearfully retired from the king's service and returned to her swamp to teach the rising generation of witches as their wise village elder. It's said that she maintained her youthful visage until her final days and departed this world surrounded by her steadfast disciples. She looked hot her entire life. Good for her. Selvi. After the war, Selvi continued to travel the lands pursuing her research into ancient Zenoira. With memory of the Empire's modern reign fresh in their minds, the world was eager to learn more of their deeds in days of old, and Selvi's work garnered immense interest, as deeper understanding of Zenoira's history and culture spread through Fevrith. Further scholars built upon Selvi's findings, thus memorializing her as a pioneer in the field. With the war concluded, Ridiel at last realized her dream of becoming a Knight of Elheim. Though some still whispered about her half-elf blood, she unflinchingly proved herself through great skill and valor, thus silencing those who discriminated against her. In a few years' time, she came to attain even greater glory than her mother before her, and stood as a proud beacon of hope for half-elves through every corner of Elheim. Ooh, that's my wife. Oh, look, it's that girl. The girl who was in love with Ithilien. She's here. Oh, that's cute. After the war, Rosalinda convinced Ithilien to return to the village which sheltered him from Zenoira's watchful eye. There he was reunited with Alina, and the two wed, and though their time together was limited by the much shorter human lifespan, they cherished every last moment they spent in each other's loving company. Upon Alina's passing, Ithilien remained in the village and watched over his descendants for the rest of his days. I love that. After the war, Raylanor continued to serve Rosalinda in her new role as Queen of Cornea. Having been separated from her lady during the invasion of Elheim, Raylanor gained a renewed sense of duty and refused to leave Rosalinda's side, even when the situation didn't call for a guard protection. However, Rosalinda herself found this dedication to be quite endearing indeed. I'm sure we'll get Rosalinda's when we get to the end. She is queen after all. The war with Zenoira concluded. Eltalinda returned to Elheim to restore its charred forests and downtrodden settlements to their long-forgotten glory and pride. By the time the nation had recovered in true, elves and humans had formed a deeper bond of unity, and the divine Tyrannos commanded the respect and love of both races alike. After the war, Gladmir was reinstated as Eltalinda's personal guard and served faithfully beside the divine Tyrannos. Though the land had entered a time of peace, she trained ever diligently with the bow. One legend speaks of a day she spotted a vile rogue at Elheim's borders and fired upon him from miles away through a crenelle at Castle Larhall, piercing him with a single arrow. After the war, Linolagos first aided in the reconstruction of Elheim before swearing his loyalty to Eltalinda anew, thus serving as her second-in-command for all of Elheim. From that moment forth, he dedicated his life to protecting Ervelda, securing Elheim, and ensuring the peace of the Elven land. And ensuring the peace of the Elven land would never again be disturbed by war. Word of the courageous human raised by Bestrels spread throughout Fevrith, eventually drawing the gaze of renowned historians who penned tales of her exploits in freeing Bestorius. The magnitude of her story resonated across the lands, and Unifi and her heroic brethren came to be idolized by children everywhere, even those who had never once met a Bestrel. At the behest of the other Bestrel bloodlines, Morard ascended the throne as the new king of Bestorius and sole surviving Lion Bestrel. Having experienced life as a human and Bestrel both, he ruled without discrimination and quickly garnered loyal support from subjects of all races and bloodlines. Even after Zenora's collapse, Ramona continued to lead the Frostblooms in aiding wounded Bestrels and restoring Bistorius to its former glory with her vast wisdom and keen insight. She also served as counsel to the new king of Bistorius, thus dedicating her life to Bestral prosperity and aiding their relations with the other lands of Fevre. Living the life out here, you two. Well, at least they're not fighting anymore, huh? Though offered a role as knights captained by the new king of Bistorius, Govel declined, thus handing the post to a trusted subject and returning home to manage his grandfather's tavern. Despite its age, the tavern thrived for years to come as a warm, welcoming establishment and a treasured haven for wary Bestrels taking part in the restoration of Bistorius. With the war concluded, Bertrand lent his hammer to the restoration of Bistorius and the construction of monuments to honor those fallen in battle. Every year, the anniversary of the war's end saw Bistorius as blanketed in the bittersweet aroma of flowers left as offerings at those memorials. At the suggestion of a dear friend, Dina and the Snow Petals traveled throughout Bistorius to aid in the ongoing reconstruction efforts. Her fierce loyalty and firm leadership proved equally as useful in times of peace, and her successes saw countless hopefuls aspiring to join the Snow Petals. Human and Bestral alike, in time, her distrust of humans thawed like the northern ice in the light of spring. Oh, the sisters united. I was wondering if the other sister would become recruitable at some point, but she never did. After the war, Nina returned home, much to the joy and relief of Millet and her parents. Having reconciled with her family, she then departed once again to travel the world and aid in the ongoing reconstruction efforts. In time, tales of her exploits spread through the land, and admirers gathered in every town in hopes of meeting the vivacious knight. Bryce reformed the Rock Rats in true, not as bandits, but as a band of mercenaries seeking to aid in the post-war recovery of Fevrith. His kindness, humility, and eagerness to accept tasks few would dare endure saw him grow into a respected figure among both the townsfolk and his fellow mercenaries. Dude, Bryce and the Rock Rats frickin' rock. I love him. What a great ongoing story. It's like they didn't pop up that much, but when they did, it was always impactful, and it just worked for me. I loved it. Gave him matching hair. Alright, if this doesn't say that they, like, scissored to the end of their days, I quit. We know what's happening, okay? We know what's happening. So even if they don't say it here, these two definitely lived out the rest of their days together and in love. And it's wholesome, and ignore the comment about scissoring. That was disrespectful. And I'm sorry, Oclise and Sharon. That was disrespectful. I take it back. I take it back. Okay, anyways. With the war concluded, Sharon returned to Ronmort Church to tend to the wounded. Everywhere she and her trusted companion Oclise, they said they were roommates. I mean, just out with it, guys. Don't beat around the bush. Just out with it. They're in love, okay? Everywhere she and her trusted companion Oclise went, they were met with the kind hearts and a restored faith in the church's teachings. In time, their tale came to be immortalized in a massive stained glass window adorning the wall of their beloved Ronmort. Aw, their love was immortalized. After the war, Oclise laid down her sword in exchange for a prayer book, and thus took up residence in Ronmort Church to spread the Orthodoxy's teachings. There, her statue as an angel saw her inspire fervent faith in those around her, and even without blade in hand, she forever strived to sever the encroaching roots of evil. I love how, like, at the beginning of the game, the second that I saw Oclise, I was like, oh yeah, I like her. And then the second that I met Sharon and saw their interaction, I was like, nope, off the table. Off the table. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm into Oclise. It's over. Those two belong to one another. It was just like an immediately 180 where I was like, nope, she does not belong to men. You have to respect it. You have to. You have to. Okay. Let's see. Rhaenys. After the war, Rhaenys led a quiet life in humble service of her Albion Abbey. Her kind, caring nature saw many of her former allies visit the church to offer their prayers and reminisce over a warm meal. In times of leisure, she would pay visits to Scarlet, and the two quickly rekindled their years-forgotten friendship. After the war, Tatiana traveled the world to broaden her knowledge and advance her medical studies should the plague strike again. Though she believed that faith alone could never heal the sick, she softened her stance upon witnessing the warmth, care, and curative magics the land's churches offered their people. Upon her return to Cornea, her research was greatly funded by King Alain, and in time it grew to form the central tenets of Fevrith's medical practice. And then late in Alain's life, she slipped into his bedchamber and slit his throat, fulfilling her promise from many, many years ago. I made up that last part. Didn't happen. She forgave him. This poor girl. She thought she was going to marry Alain and be queen. She really thought. She thought that childhood friendship was going to be enough. But then we met an elf. After the war, honestly, she wasn't even in like top 5 for me, so sorry, Scarlet. After the war, Scarlet ceded the pontificate to Senadio. Why? That guy sucks. And returned to Palavia to live out the rest of her days as a humble priestess. There, her presence saw a renewed faith in the orthodoxy as believers gathered to hear her sermons and tales of Albion's savior. At times, she could be seen in the cathedral's garden, conversing warmly with a young angel and an imposing man clad wholly in black armor. So wait, hold on. At times, she could be seen in the cathedral's garden, conversing warmly with a young angel and an imposing man clad wholly in... Oh, it's, why am I forgetting his name? Nigel. That's Nigel. After the war, Eumeris spent her days defending the orthodoxy as a sacred knight, pursuing her study of botany all the while. The verdant flower garden she tended to quickly became one of Albion's most sought-after pilgrimage sites. It's said that at times she could be seen hosting Scarlet in that very garden, where the two reminisced about their distant childhoods. You know what? Nigel and Scarlet should be a thing, for sure. That's probably not what's being implied there, but she deserves a gallant knight. And she didn't get Alain, so... Nigel seems like a cool guy. Better than Senadio. I hate Senadio. Some people don't deserve to be forgiven. What he did was fucking horrible. After the war, Jerome returned to Largian and began restoring the city to its surrounds with the undying aid of his beloved citizens. Though lacking in mastery of governance, his kindness, loyalty, and the occasional baked good earned him the never-ending trust and affection of his people. His work with the liberation complete, Fedoquia returned to Paestum and began to walk the long road towards reconstruction. His unwavering dedication towards the task at hand earned him the renewed trust of his people, and together they ushered in a new age of peace and prosperity. In time, his beloved son's grave came to be forever adorned with flowers and offerings. Yeah, Nigel and Scarlet can hook up. They would make gorgeous children, let's be real. After the war, Senadio traversed Albion to aid in the reconstruction, wherein witnessing the breadth of faith in the land thus altered his own beliefs. Despite Scarlet's insistence, he had long declined the pontifical mitre but in time he relented and chose to honor the trust of those who believed in him. Unearned. Therefore, as the new pontifex, he and Nigel worked tirelessly to guide the orthodoxy down the proper path and spread his teachings to any who would listen. He's still a little shithead. Alright, so Alain and Rosalinda's are probably going to be after all of this. They'll be the end credit scene. Okay, so yeah, we can talk about the game for a little bit again. Yeah, I can't remember where I left off exactly. I think it was talking about the overworld. The overworld was inspired, man. Like, a good overworld, and like, I remember there was a mode in one of the Star Wars Battlefronts. I can't remember if it was 1 or 2 that I played on Xbox, that had a mode where you basically just like conquered the entire galaxy slowly. And I always loved stuff like that. And this kind of felt similar to that in the way that like you're just like expanding your sphere of influence, let's say. You're conquering everything, right? And like, conquering is kind of a strong word for it, but like, it was so fun to do that on this overworld. Well done, Atlas. Well done, Sega. Well done, Vanillaware. What a great game. Gorgeous art in this game, too. It's Vanillaware. Of course it is. Yep, that's my wife. Oh, she's adorable. Thus, Rosalinda was welcomed into the Grand Corinne's halls as its new queen. There, she ruled Cornea as Elaine's bride, and the two remained extremely close, both in their official duties and in their personal lives, as husband and wife. Finn. End of the game. I don't want it to end. You may now commence the quest Unicorn Overlord at the start of the final confrontation against Garious. You may now select True Zenoiran difficulty when starting a new game. You may now explore Grand Corinne and the surrounding area after Elaine's coronation. You may now visit the altar on Palavia to return to before you performed the Rite of Covenant. Oh, so you can see all of the maiden things, right? A new quest is now available at the ruins in the northwestern Cornea. Game's not over! You will now be prompted to save your clear data. You may then load this data to gain access to various new possibilities. We used every single save slot. That's ridiculous. I love it. Oh, this game. This game. So good. So good. Complete the quest Unicorn Overlord. Alright. Hey, we got some more Fevrite. Alright, so obviously we have to do this, but let's just finish talking about this a little bit. This could easily be my game of the year. This game was so much fun. It was so fresh. And I understand, like, it definitely takes a lot of inspirations from, you know, some of the ogre battle games. I get it. But let's be real, even though I haven't played those games, I've seen a lot of videos about those games. This game refreshes even those game systems by quite a bit. By quite a bit. And so, in that way, even those of you who played this, you have to admit that this is a fresh version of this, of even those game systems. And it's just so refreshing in this genre to have this and to, like, be excited about this stuff. I think that, like, Fire Emblem Engage really, really brought my spirits down on the state of SRPGs right now, just because, like, Fire Emblem for a long time has been such a great series, and they definitely do hit or miss a lot, and that one was such a big miss for me that I was like, oh man, I don't know if I can believe in this dev right now, and you know, I'm still waiting for the next Fire Emblem game, and it could be so fantastic that it just, you know, blows my expectations out of the water. But this game just really, really got my spirits up again for the genre as a whole. And even though people will call this, you know, very generic sort of fantasy writing and stuff, they did enough to make it interesting enough to pull me through this entire game, and I never wanted it to end. If they do make a sequel to this, which I really, really do hope that they do, I would hope that they do delve a little bit further into the writing, because we know that they have writing teams that are capable of some of the most amazing writing we've ever seen. 13 Sentinels was an incredible feat of writing, so we know that they can go further, and I think it was just a management of resources sort of thing that they did with this one. And I think that they did invest their time correctly. Because, you know, like, the gameplay systems are immaculately created in this game. The progression in this game is immaculately honed. And then the writing never bothered me. It never upset me. It was always at a level that it was good enough, you know? Could it be better? Anything could be better. I know that they can do better with their writing, right? But was it ever uninteresting? No, it was very, very good. This game is so good. This game is so good. But anyways, let's explore. So let's go ahead. This is already 3 stars.
If it's steel you're after, you're in the right place.
Cool. Scarlet Crest Shield, guard efficiency plus 25, base AP plus 1. And you can buy Fev right now.
Done and done. We see it.
Welcome, welcome. Appreciate. Bye.
None shall enter the castle under our watch. 'Tis the greatest honor to serve you, your majesty. It looks like things have finally started calming down after the ceremony. Why don't you go take a look around? I'm sure the others would love to see you. Oh wow, a bunch of the people in our team. Is everybody in our team going to be here? No, there's not enough. Alright, anyways. I always knew you'd be king someday, Alain. It still feels strange, at least to me. Not that I'm not confident you'll make a great ruler. I know that for a fact. I never thought I'd set foot on Cornian soil again, yet here I am. I'm not one for show of emotion, but your coronation moved me to tears, my king. You know, it's been years since I've seen the castle up close like this. I'm sure you're exhausted after everything we've been through, too. But I know you won't let that stop you, not even for a second. You'll make a wonderful king, Alain. I'm more than certain of it. Now that the old trading routes have been restored, you can find anything you want here in Grand Corinne. Just one of the many boons of Cornia's revival, your majesty. I haven't seen the city this alive in years. It does my heart good, that. I'm glad not everybody's dead. They seem to have mass murdered half this town, so... If anything's giving you trouble, just let your old court sorceress know and I'll make it disappear for you. Are you gonna kill somebody for me? Is that you, your majesty? What a pleasant surprise, indeed, to be graced by your presence. I only wish my wife and son were here to see this. Oh, poor thing, you must be tired after all this ceremony. You may be the hero of Fevrith, yes, but you're still human, just like the rest of us. So please, don't take on more than you're capable of handling. Oh, and do let me know if there's anything I can do to help you. I'd be more than glad to cure your royal fatigue, should you ever need it. A fine coronation that was, Alain. I trust you'll carry yourself in manner befitting your role. If anyone's capable of leading this nation, it's you. Oh, more. Okay. Come now, Sharon. I understand you bear a duty as the appointed healer, but you've barely had a chance to enjoy the festivities. That's all right with me. Just seeing everyone happy is more than enough. And what of my happiness? All I wanted was to spend the day together, and yet... I suppose I could find someone else to fill in for a while, if you put it like that. I'd much appreciate that, yes. Shall we head for the shops? God, I love them. I love them together. I saw a number of people injure themselves today. One had grown so wrapped in conversation that he fell clean off his chair, while another thought to perform a sword dance, drunk, of course, and gave himself quite the scrape. Oh, but you needn't worry. Nobody was seriously hurt, I'm pleased to report. If anything, they all seem to be enjoying themselves despite the pain. That's the kind of joy only a new king can deliver, I suppose. It's good to see you, my king. Do let me know if you'd ever like a fresh loaf of bread. That sorceress over there looks almost like a younger form of the esteemed Lady Anna. Unless, no, it couldn't be. Hey, go talk to her. You might be surprised. Look, my dad said this fruit comes all the way from Elheim. You're really a king now, huh, Alain? I will say, the crown did look pretty perfect on you. It's almost overwhelming in a way, this huge castle, all these people. And it's only going to get busier from here, too. But don't worry, I know you'll be ready for anything that comes your way. I thought elves and bestrels only existed in fairy tales. Now I've actually seen them with my own eyes. My friends are going to be so jealous when they hear about this. And my throat is going to be so dry after reading all of this. After today, everyone's just going to head home to their own countries, huh? Who knows the next time we'll be able to be together like this, if ever. That's even more reason to speak with them. Now, while you still have the chance. But no matter how far away we might be from each other, there's no changing what we've been through. The next time you see someone, it'll be like no time has passed at all. Yeah, thanks, Morard. Ah, Alain, thank you for inviting us today. It's a joy to see you finally getting the recognition you deserve. As for Bastorius, it's hard to say what comes next exactly, but I hope to stand a loyal ally to Cornea for the rest of my days, and far beyond. It's the least we can do, after all the compassion you've shown my people. It was quite the honor to be present for this occasion, Alain, and in your enchanting land of Cornea as well. The battle to reclaim it was arduous indeed, yet now our nations stand united to rebuild that which was once lost. I look forward to your reign with great anticipation. I've no doubt that the world shall be a better place with you as king. You okay there, Morard? Huh? Yes. With the ceremony finished and my stomach full, I must have simply fallen asleep for a second. It certainly doesn't help that Cornea is so warm, either. I know what you mean, but I think it's more than that, too. Almost like we can finally just relax after all these years. Right you are. As for now, I'm looking forward to a good sleep once we get back to Bastorius. The castle's architecture is fascinating indeed, and quite distinct from what you may find in Bastorius. I must say I can't help but admire the sight of it. Trust me, Ramona, we know. Everyone saw you studying the brickwork up the parapets earlier. Did you now? I wasn't aware my inclinations were that transparent. Such an opportunity may never come again, so I was eager to further my knowledge while I still had the chance. I find it rather embarrassing to have been caught in the act. From everything I'd heard, I expected Bestrels to be a little more terrifying in person. But I suppose that's what you get for trusting hearsay. There's few things in this world more stunning than an elf. Such beauty. My prince! Your majesty. It's funny, I've been calling you that for so long, only to mix it up in the vital moment. This war was a long one. Longer than I had ever expected. I can read. But we improved the lives of so many people along the way. I'll always be proud to have been a part of that, however small. It's amazing just how full of life this city is. And seeing how happy we've made everyone, I'm glad I'm here, Alain. The question now is what comes next for the crowned king of Cornea. I can't wait to find out. Well, Ridiel, what do you think of Grand Corinne? Well, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a few too many people for my liking, but it's nice seeing them all celebrate like this. Realizing we're the ones responsible for that, well, I can't help but smile a bit myself. Looks like peace is getting the better of you. I'd love to find a little something for my friends back in Elheim. Any ideas, Chloe? Maybe a honey apple? They're almost impossible to get anywhere else, and they're delicious too. We've nothing but gratitude for delivering us from Zenobra's tyrannical reign. and now your citizens shall repay the favor and support of your noble rule. If I may, my liege, your, honorable presence is requested in the castle. Well, how'd I sound? Better than expected, actually. I knew you'd like it. With that kind of charm, you'll have people eaten out of your palm in no time. You better not let your sword get dull sitting on that throne all day. I'm always a shout away if you ever want to spar, though. With Zenoir's emperor deposed at last, we've begun resuming our old trade routes across Vevrin. My customers have never been happier or more willing to spend. If I may, my liege, your, honorable presence is requested in the castle. There's room for improvement. When you're right, you're right. I barely even convinced myself, to be honest. Good thing is, it doesn't matter what you are. King or not, you'll always be the best friend a guy could ever ask for. Ah, King Alain. Witnessing your coronation with Lady Scarlet at my side, well, it moved me to tears, if I'm completely honest. An age of peace has truly graced our lands. Of course, much work remains to be finished, but for this moment alone, I'm content to bask in the radiant warmth of your divine light. Shall we find a seat somewhere, Lady Scarlet? I'm certain you must be tired after so much standing. Thank you, Rhaenys, but I'm alright. Huh, yet your voice sounds strange somehow. Perhaps you've been speaking too much here? A warm cup of tea to ease the soreness? You always do know how to make me feel better. It's been a long day for all of us, but I'm sure I'll sleep well tonight. Yes, I feel much the same way. There we go, 100% of the world nap. Meow. Meow? You'll lead our nation well, Your Majesty. I just know it. All my clients were thrilled to learn about the restored trade routes. I can barely take a break to catch my breath, but my coin purse certainly isn't complaining. Should the moment call for it, I shall gladly guard your life with my own, Your Majesty. Everyone from Drakenhold has an air of chivalry about them. It's honestly a little intimidating. Hairman. My sincerest congratulations on your ascension to the throne, Your Majesty. King Gilbert could scarcely contain his joy amidst the celebrations. I only pray that this newly discovered bond between our nations never fades into obscurity. 'Twas a splendid ceremony indeed, Alain. Thus we stand not only as friends, but brethren in kingship and our respective nations. In truth, I'd once imagined the throne to be a cold place, a solitary prison formed of duty and formality. Yet, in its embrace, I've found naught but fraternity instead. I owe that in part to my subjects, of course, but none have nurtured that flame greater than you. May our paths run ever in partnership, my friend. I never imagined this day would come, barricaded as we were in the halls of Baumrat. Yet now that it has, I find it almost as moving as my own coronation. I can only assume it due to your bond of friendship forged beyond breaking in the furious flames of war. I believe the relations between Cordia and Drakenhold mirror the ironclad strength of that bond. Indeed they do. I pray that our amity remains as such for the rest of our days. Well, Virginia, where shall we be off to next? There's a tavern nearby I think you would love. The perfect place for a little drinking contest. Always a competition with you, is it? As if that's even a surprise. I'll never announce the thrill of victory, and today I'm feeling even luckier than normal. Well, lead the way then. I've little intention of defeat myself. That was some ceremony, Alain, really. I've seen you in formal wear plenty of times before, but this feels different somehow. You've grown more than I ever thought possible. Now you've become just the ruler Cordia needs. Thank you. For reclaiming our castle, for rebuilding our home, and for giving our people hope for their future. Could I ask you something, Leah? Why do you keep standing off in the distance when I'm speaking to someone? Well, I'd prefer not to interrupt your merriment, my ladyship. Nonsense, these are your friends as much as they are mine. And they'd all like to talk to you, not see you watching them from half a mile off. Well, if that's what you wish, I'll do just that, thank you. My warmest congratulations, Your Majesty. Here we stand at the deserved end of a long-fought war, or perhaps the beginning of a new era entirely. While I feel I should address you as an ambassador to Drakenhold, I want to thank you. not with the political trappings of a formal missive, but as nothing more than a private citizen. My homeland owes you a great deal for what you've done. Maybe someday I'll repay you for it. I have to say, Sir Aramis, I'm rather surprised to see you in attendance. Well, don't be. I could never have missed Elaine's most brilliant moment. Though the event has drawn quite a few dignitaries from other nations to Fevrith, I must take care to keep my identity concealed. Of course, and I will be glad to assist in that, should the need ever arise. If nothing else, I hope you can be at ease amongst our friends. Thank you, Leah. I shall endeavor to do just that. 'Twas a gift indeed that I could witness your coronation. Under your benevolent reign, Cornea's future will be most assuredly bright, and I admit it is a true honor to be even a footnote in the grand tale of your ascension. Know that however far I may be, I shall never stop believing in your cause. By now I find it rather difficult to regard you at the same distance I used to. I fear simply praying for your success from the dark shadows of Drakenhold may no longer satisfy my desire to help. Of course, this will likely need to wait until you've a pause in your duties, but I should quite like to see you again when the time allows it. As a friend, that is. It would seem the reconstruction has taken immense strides under your newfound leadership, my king. As we both know, this land suffered greatly before our final battle saw it reclaimed, and in truth I wasn't aware that Cornea was quite this beautiful in her full glory. I only hope I can stimulate the growth of my own home in such a stark manner. Have you found the occasion to speak with your brother, Sir Aramis? Briefly, yes, yet I thought it prudent to avoid a prolonged conversation. Best not to raise suspicions, if at all possible. Well, I suppose you're right, though you must have shown him great kindness indeed, even in that fleeting moment. King Gilbert seemed rather overjoyed when I spoke to him earlier. There's no hiding the truth from one as observant as you. Is that you, my king? And I can just make out Lady Virginia down the road over there. Oh, how she resembles your mother when she was young. Everything's clear, your majesty. It was hard living here in Grand Corinne while the rest of Fevrith was freed from evil, but now we get to experience the same joy. I've even left the city at times to reunite with old friends. Every inn in the city's been full up these days. I guess this means peace truly is good and back. What did you say? I don't even care. You know, I never thought a merc like me would end up standing in a place like this. Guess that's what having an eye for talent gets you. All I'm missing now is the purse of gold to go along with it. Come on, don't look at me like that. I mean, I'll take the reward if you're ever offering, but I'd rather see that coin go towards making our kingdom a better place. Good luck with that, boss. He's like, but please pay me, maybe? Some things may never go back to the way they once were, but life has returned to our city all the same. It's incredible to see, don't you think? From the moment we left Elheim, each new landscape was more beautiful than the last. Though I'll admit, few vistas could ever match the spectacle of Grand Corinne. And I would never have seen any of it without you, Alain. It was an honor, truly. Your command in securing this city was nigh flawless, if you'll allow me the compliment, and I assure you the people of Elheim will speak of your exploits for generations to come. The legend of the hero and his journey to redeem our land and Fevrith Hull. Would you care to train together once we have returned to Elheim, Athelian? Well, if you want, but I can't promise I won't hurt you. Ter Rosalinda told me to simply enjoy myself for the day, but how am I to do that exactly? You could always wander the city with me, if you've no other ideas. After all, it would be quite the shame for us to come all this way only to stand outside the gates. I'd like that, yes. It's been far too long since we last had the chance to relax like this. I never thought I would feel quite so at ease outside of Elheim's forests. Of course, the only other time I've crossed our border was for a journey of nigh endless battle. To make the trek once more and for such a wondrous ceremony fills my heart with true and utter joy. Congratulations yet again, Your Majesty. Pardon the query, Terrace, but you seem rather busy at the banquet. Were you able to eat enough? I was, thank you, and what a stunning banquet that was. I could eat Cornean food every meal of the day and never tire of it. Every meal, Then I've no choice but to study their cuisine that I may cook it for you on any trips away from Grand Corinne. I appreciate the offer, Raylanor, but it was just a figure of speech, no studies required. All my life, I had never considered leaving Elheim, let alone becoming queen of another nation, but now that it's happened, I couldn't imagine anything greater. I do wish I didn't have to be quite so far from Eltalinda. Still, I can never be happier than when I'm with you, my darling. Oh, is that blushing I see? Sorry, I should have known better than to tease a king, but I do love how easily it is to fluster you, not to mention your bravery and your kindness. It makes me proud to be your queen. Hold on, Alain. Sorry for stopping you, it's just you're still blushing. I thought maybe you'd want to stay with me until it died down, you know, so nobody else would see you like this. And I think that just made it worse. Seems like you're stuck with me then. Oh, darn. Listen, Alain, I'm glad you're a king and all, but it's a real shame you're trading that sword of yours for a nice harmless quill. I fought a lot of men in my day, both before the war and during it, but I've never met a soul half as tough as you. Just promise you'll give me a match every now and then, yeah? Life is sure gonna be boring without you around. I could always try roaming the land searching for the toughest challenge. That sounds a bit too much like the old man for my taste. Let's just forget I ever said that. As loyal servants of the Cornian throne, we'll gladly lay down our lives if duty calls for it. Worry not, my liege, we shall guard this fort forevermore. Looks like it's finally over, huh? Although I guess your work's still just getting started. Maybe I'll work on finding myself a boat while you're busy. Just let me know when you got some downtime and we can sail the open seas, you and me. Didn't really feel like it, but we were fighting a long time there. Glad I got the chance to go home, though, and see these two, I guess. Real relief knowing our desert's still alive and kicking. One hell of a ceremony you had there, Alain. Best damn day I can remember, I'll tell you what. Not like that's anything new, though. Every day riding with you was better than the last. So yeah, thanks for keeping me around. Here's hoping I didn't hold you back too much. Back when I was first coming on board, I could have sworn we'd all end up tossed in a jail cell. Or worse, if things didn't go our way. But here you went and saved the world. Without a doubt, we'd make it through. Pulled a lot of people out of the mud, too, including me. Thanks for that. War's over, yeah. There's still tons we've got left to do. Don't worry, me and Albin here are in it for the long haul. Ain't that right, Albin? Like you even gotta ask. After everything we've been through, I wouldn't want it any other way. Also, I'm gonna marry your sister. What? You heard me. I'm gonna bone her down big style. By the way, Magellan, you heading back to the desert now? Yeah, right after I kill Albin. Nah, not yet. You probably know this, but some of the old gang went running to Cornia when things went bad. Figure now's as good a time as any to track them down, though. Might even try my hand at fixing up a town or two. Well, I'm coming too. Yeah, good. Just stay away from Albin, okay? What about the Scorpions? Easy. Albin will take care of them for us. Hey, don't go volunteering me for stuff without even asking me first. No, guess I wouldn't mind doing you a favor just this once. Things will never go back to the way they used to be. We're gonna keep pushing forward, heads held high, just like you did. Your strength of heart astounds me, my king. Not only did you guide Fevrith to an age of peace, you did it by your own blade, not anyone else's. Well, except for the other, 60 plus people, including you that were with me. I couldn't be more proud to have played a part in that, however minor it was. My bow is ever in your service, your majesty. Simply give the order and I'll be there. After so many years, light has finally returned to our lands. Thank you, King Alain. Row. Would you like a flower, sir? I picked them fresh this morning. There, everything's going to be all right now. Oh, Alain. The end has come and gone, and you've grown no closer to the demise I promised to oversee, yet my mind has been set from the moment I agreed to join your ranks. I'll continue to observe how you live, and one day I fully intend to watch you die, no matter how long that takes. Okay. The city may celebrate, but our people are suffering from the plague even now. Just a moment's rest and I'll be getting back to my work. Though I have to say, there have been far fewer cases now that we've driven Zenoira out of these lands. I suppose I should thank you for that. My research would never have continued if not for you. A large man wielding a mighty hammer helped us restore our town to its former glory. It wasn't a surprise to learn he'd once stood shoulder to shoulder with the liberation itself. Are you sure we deserve this royal visit, my king? I imagine you have business in far more prominent towns than ours. Huh. I beg you, Nina, come home with me. Our mother and father are desperate to see you again. Still, how could I possibly look them in the eyes after all I've done to our family? They're your parents, kid. They'll forgive ya. He's right, you know. Frickin' rock rats, I love you guys. Doesn't matter what's happened since you left. I'm sure they'd be happy that you're finally back home. Hell, you can even tell them stories from the war if you want. I suppose you're right. I'm not certain how they'll react, but there's only one way to find out. Oh, how surprised they'll be to learn I fought beside the Liberation Army. Oh, Your Majesty. I'm not sure how much of that you heard, but I've decided to return home to my family. I plan to tell them everything we accomplished in our travels. Everything that I accomplished. Our family is forever in your debt, my king. All her time with the Liberation seems to have changed Nina into a new woman entirely. Allow me to thank you again for taking her under your wing and aiding me when I needed it most. Look at you, king of the whole damn country now. I've been keeping an eye on you ever since I joined this little army of yours, but I'm not stopping anytime soon. You break your promise and you know what happens. No telling what dark corner a rat might be hiding in after all. Looks like Nina's leaving us again. It's not like she dying though. It just means we'll have to go visit. Can't wait to see I can't wait to see what the parents think of a couple old bandits showing up unannounced. I'm sure they'll love that. Okay, not ready to leave yet. Wow, Gragtorin is even more magnificent than I'd imagined. Her streets are filled to the brim with adoring citizens, and the city's bounds stretch far wider than any book ever described. I would love a tour sometime if you ever have a moment to spare. 'Twas truly a coronation most splendid, King Alain. I always knew your blessed citizens would greet you with the same adoration I do. Of course, I am but one of many wayward souls you delivered from evil's grasp. Yet I'm certain all who witness today's ceremony will feel redeemed in much the same way. May the heavens bless your reign both now and forevermore. Are you the new king, mister? Thanks a lot for getting rid of the bad guys. You're welcome, kid. Meandering through your capital has raised my spirits rather dramatically. It may prove difficult indeed to reconcile with the people of my city. Yet I shall never surrender hope, neither for myself nor for them. Under your rule, we'll create a nation where all our people can be happy, not just the noble few. Our sincerest congratulations, King Alain. Not only did you redeem our city, you wrested the entire continent from the cruel palm of evil. Thank you for sparing Lord Jerome as well. May the Father's light always shine upon your sacred kingdom. I'm glad I chose to accept your invitation, my king. Though work of our city demands endless time and effort, I would have regretted missing this for the rest of my life. By all rights, I should be setting off now, for festivities have ceased. Yet I'm finding it quite a struggle to leave. In any case, I thank the heavens above that you were chosen to lead our army. Shall we make for Albion, Lord Jerome? Well, perhaps we could stay here just a few moments longer, Of course, sir. The decision is yours. Lord Jerome must really yearn for the companionship he gained while marching with the Liberation, though I'm not sure he even realizes it himself. After all those years, I almost forgotten what peace felt like. Thank you for the reminder, Your Majesty. Hold on a sec. You never introduced yourself to the king here, did you? Oh, how rude of me. I'm Anna, Your Majesty. By the way, your coronation was the most beautiful ceremony. Congratulations again. I've never been to a coronation before, but it was never grander than even grander than I could have possibly imagined. And there, that should just about do it. Well, if it isn't the king himself, stay a minute, take a look around. Pretty good, right? Not a single brick out of place. As for what I do next, I'm thinking I might hit the road, see where else my hammer might come in handy. Expect that'll keep me busy for a while, but just say the word if you ever need something. I'll be knocking back at the castle gate before you know it. Maybe a little more work there, or a couple different touches here. Best not, actually. Not when there are plenty more towns that need a hand. That's how this stuff goes, though. Doesn't matter how long you spend on it, you'll never feel like you got it perfect. You never know when this newfound peace might come crashing down, but we'll always keep our swords sharp, just in case. Nothing to report, Your Majesty. Do you remember me, my king? I work as a fisherman over in Ovier Harbor. Thanks to you, my home is full of life once more. Mama? As a former queen myself, and as your mother, I'm exceedingly proud of all that you've done, Alain. Not only have you served as a faithful shield to our subjects, you've restored peace to an entire continent over. Alright, this is just me talking, obviously separate from Alain, but I would marry Elenia any day. Thank you for taking the burden of leadership upon yourself. There are fewer greater joys in life than being warmed by the sun's rays, surrounded by the people you love. It feels as though the earth itself has labored to bless your coronation. You've grown into a fine young man, my son. 'Tis an honor to see you here, Your Majesty. Everyone who once contributed to our war effort remains walking the enlivened streets of Grand Corinne. I hope you find the occasion to speak with them as well. Queen Elenia shall be safe neath my watchful eye, I assure you of that. Yeah, dude. Under the care of these three? I mean, Elenia can hold her own. She killed Valmore. You out here alone, Your Majesty? I'm sure it's safe with all of us knights around, but couldn't hurt to be a little more careful. Never know what kind of drunk fools might try and pick a fight with you. Though knowing you, I'm sure you'd smack them down without even lifting a finger. Have you been taking the moment to speak with everyone, Your Majesty? They all couldn't wait to see you even before the ceremony started. Myself included, of course. But I'll still be working in the palace with the Knights of the Rose, so we'll have chances for conversations whenever we want. Maybe focus your attention on those who traveled from abroad instead. I trust you're not getting in any trouble out over there, Keitra. What kind of lowlife do you take me for? I'm here to protect the Queen, not bother her. That's a relief. Sometimes I've wondered if you'll ever grow up at all. Wait, Keitra? Well, before the ceremony today, I actually just forget I ever said anything. As if that's going to happen, tell me what you've done this instant. Hey, not so loud, I'm dead meat if the Queen finds out about this. What'd you do, Keitra? Keitra, how many times must I tell you not to speak more formally when addressing His Majesty? A lot, apparently. I know I'm supposed to, but I just can't help it, you know? Plus, the Queen told me she didn't mind, so I kinda stopped trying. Sorry. You realize you're meant to conform to the wills of our masters, not impose your own upon them, yes? The coronation is complete, Your Majesty, and you now come before me, a king in true. 'Tis a fact celebrated by all the world over. Now I dare not presume to lecture you, my king, yet I pray you share with us the burdens of the crown, rather than attempt to shoulder them entirely yourself. Though no matter the circumstances, you will have my undying support as captain of the Royal Guard. Shall we, Renal? Our work here is far from finished. But of course, let us be off at once. 'Twas a decisive battle, most splendidly fought, Your Majesty. My own atonement remains ever distant, yet know that I'm eternally grateful to have played a part in our victory. You've redeemed my life on more than one occasion now, Hudrick. I'm grateful, old friend. I only did what any man would, yet words shall only carry us so far. Come, let us dedicate our strength to Cornea Reborn. Much has transpired on our path towards this moment, Your Majesty. Though in truth bearing witness to your ascension assisting it, in some meager way, will always be my greatest treasure. And now my role with the Liberation has reached its natural conclusion. Yet I shall ever stand as your faithful servant, for the royal lineage and for Cornea. I can still remember when you were but a child, my king. Ah, how you've grown since our days on Palavia. Well, look who went and got his castle back. Never doubted you for a second, boss. Hey, can't thank you enough for snapping me out of it. I mean that. Hell of a place you got here, Alain. Though it was it was hell getting it cleaned up, too. I am going to lose my voice. It's a struggle already. Okay. Alright. I should grab some water. I really should. Can't say that was a surprise given the state Zenora left it in, but I'm glad we got it looking good as new in time for the big day. You can say that again. After all he's done for us, Alain deserves a bit of royal comfort. That was some ceremony, Alain. Barely feels right anymore standing here talking to you like nothing ever happened. Sorry, couldn't help the joke. We both know that you and me are just getting started. All you have to do is say the word and I'll be there anytime you need me. Can't say I expected this when I first met you, Alain. I suppose that's what I get for playing the skeptic. We'd never have come half this far if it wasn't for you. Hey, goes both ways, girl. You are a powerhouse. Thanks again for proving me wrong. Don't mean to spring this on you, but what do you two say we get back to the old gang? You mean rebuild the tricorns? I've been ready to ride since the day you left, boss. And with the both of you back, I bet the rest of the crew would come running too. Alright. I'm in if you are, Ren. Glad to hear it. Now come on, we've got work to do. You sure enjoyed that feast, huh, Bruno? I don't think I've ever seen someone eat their body weight in food before. And what else was I supposed to do? Days like this are once in a lifetime, you know? Though maybe I did get kinda caught up in the moment. Thankfully, Alain didn't really seem to mind, but I guess that's our noble king for you. So noble, allowing somebody to eat their fill. Let our beloved Cornea be the bedrock upon which our new reign rests. We'll handle the defenses here, Your Majesty. Please go enjoy yourself. I'm moved beyond words, my king. This barely feels real, yet I know in my heart that it is. Of course, House Maye was my sole priority when first we met. Having seen what a fine man you are, and what a fine ruler you've become, I'm confident my lady made the right choice in joining you. I suppose her fascination with you was well placed in the end. She always knew you bore the strength of will to succeed in your aims. Come, my lady, House Maye awaits. I've already told you, Colm, I'm not going anywhere until I have a private audience with Alain myself. But you can return to visit any time you wish, my lady. A noble house, on the other hand, will suffer greatly absent the presence of its leader. Then let it suffer. Days like today only come around once in a lifetime. Please, Colm. You can tell the others it was another of my selfish whims if you must. Well, it was. I don't much enjoy being made an accomplice in your passions, but very well. Now, what excuse shall I give the servants of our tardiness? You looked wonderful up there during your coronation, Alain, with your other wife. Other wife? What do you mean, girl? I only have one wife. But I don't know. I think that made it feel all the more real. And I suppose this means I'll have to call you Your Majesty now. It's kind of sad when you think about it. Still, it doesn't matter to me if you're a peasant or a king. My fondness of you is the same as ever, and I expect it always will be. Consort, please? Alain makes for a handsome king, of course. But I wish I could see him as a warrior again, blade in hand just one more time. My lady, please, there shall be no need for such displays of this blossoming age of peace. In fact, I expect His Majesty will find it difficult to even train anymore. After all, who would be foolish enough to point their swords at the king himself? I guess you're right, but now I wish I had offered to train with him while I still had the chance. You know, it seemed like nothing but bluster when I first met you, but you've only gone and saved the world. You're a hero to us all, Alain, a brave soul who vanquished evil, and a wonderful leader who's more than earned the trust of his people. Any nation with you as its king will surely prove a fine place to live indeed. I have to say, Your Majesty, you look the part of a king even more than I expected. If anything, I'd almost forgotten you were royalty during our time with the Liberation. Still, I've earned my fair share of praise for my part in the war. I'm glad that it's over, of course, but I can't help but wonder if I'll never reach those heights again. Forgive me, and now is not the time for such selfish thoughts. I'll always strive to maintain my use to you, no matter what times we're living in. It's hard to believe I achieved so much in your service, knowing the endless failures which came before. If only my mother were here to see it. Do you think her words would be as kind as yours? Just think of all the research I can do with the financial backing of the royal court. My heart is racing already. She's seeing money signs. It's hard to believe I stand before a king, but you have a different air about you now. That's been evident since the moment that crown was placed on your head. I may have tested you once, but you've more than proven yourself worthy of my trust. I just hope you can find the time to visit Elheim every now and then. Our entire kingdom will have nothing but praise for the greatest hero Fevrith has ever known. It's been quite the novel experience witnessing another land's coronation. Yes, it was rather unlike our own rite of succession, yet beautiful, in the same breath. With delegations hailing from every land of Fevrith, it feels as though the entire world has joined hands in harmony. A harmony which will surely see more visitors grace Elheim's forest soon enough. Be proud of your role in forging that bond, Terrace. And with any luck, everyone present at the coronation today will continue to strive towards deepening it further. I pray you're right. Your kind, merciful leadership has swayed many of your cause, Alain. Myself among them, of course. It's grown clear to me now. You are the guiding light which illuminates our world. May its splendid radiance never fade from this land. Have you any plans of what comes next, Eumeris? I'm going back to Albion, yes, to my brother. There's still much work to be done, both for our lands and for our orthodoxy. Once matters have settled down a bit, I was thinking it might be nice to plant a garden near my home. That's a lovely idea. Perhaps I could pay you a visit once it's finished, assuming you wouldn't refuse the company. It would be an honor, my lady. I hope that by then it will have grown into a tranquil refuge worthy of your presence. I'm glad I was here to witness your coronation, Alain. You've saved so many over the course of your travels, and I can tell you're not prepared to stop now. It makes me feel all the luckier to have counted among those numbers. I promise you, if I'm ever faced with such a dilemma again, I won't err in my ways. I'll fight on for the people I hold dear and for myself. If only you could rule the entire world instead of Cornea alone, I'm certain it would bring an end to war and strife as we know it. Though perhaps that was a bit of an exaggeration. With Sonora destroyed, the other lands of Fevrith have started showing signs of recovery as well. I doubt our service will be called upon anytime soon, but we'll train daily all the same. We come all this way and now you want to just turn around and go home. I've had it up to here with you, old man. Here I am enjoying the sights and Bertrand comes along trying to ruin it. You've got to help me talk him down, Alain. And so I shall. Now that's what I'm talking about. Wouldn't have expected any less out of the guy who knocked some sense into the both of us. Ah, Govil, please, haven't you ever heard of decorum? Well, hold on, don't tell me you're taking his side in all of this. No, I get what's happening here. This is just like before. You face off against both of us, and the only choice we've got is to play nice. Govil, please, do you really think the king of a nation has time to waste on such folly? Ah, is everything this cranky when they get older, or is it just him? Oh my gosh. No? Doesn't go away? Okay. We haven't come to enjoy the sights, Govil. Now ready yourself for the trek home and depart at our first convenience. Ah, Alain, or perhaps your majesty is more proper now. Hard to believe how much our friend here has grown. Hey, you okay there, Bertrand? Don't worry, boy. There are merely the tears of the sentimental old bear. As for you, your majesty, it was an honor to be here for your grand coronation. I pray your reign will be as prosperous as it is peaceful. I wish they'd just give it a rest already. Oh, Alain, fancy seeing you here. You know, I've been thinking about the old snow petals a lot lately. It was tough going for a while there, but they all made it through in the end. Wouldn't have happened without you. Oh, me? I'm just gonna take it easy for a while. Keep this between us, but I've never really enjoyed the fighting in the first place. Only did it because I had to. All is well, your majesty. Raise your glasses to King Alain. Today we drink in his name. Oh, your majesty. Forgive me, sir. I was so focused on my ale, I barely even noticed you here. Congratulations again on your rise to the throne. With your heart beating in her chest, Cornea will become the greatest land this continent has ever seen. And it'll stay that way for the rest of time. I believe that with every ounce of my soul. Well, Clive, you gonna drink with me or what? Easy, my friend. Keep this up and you'll not even remember the occasion come tomorrow. What a shame it would be to forget the only coronation His Majesty will ever have. Ugh, you really have to put it like that? Fine. I guess I've had enough fun for one day. Doesn't seem like I'll be catching up anytime soon, the rate you're going. But it won't be for lack of trying, I'll tell you that much. While you're up chained to a desk in your stuffy old castle, I'll be training same as always. Let your blade lose its edge and I'll overtake you before you know it. Just don't get too weighed down by that crown, Alain. Gotta say, my heart's still pounding after that ceremony. What do you say we spar a couple rounds, Adel? Now? But I've already started drinking. Come on, one flagon of ale's not gonna slow you down too much. If you lost your mind, Berenice, someone could get seriously hurt. That's enough, you two. There shall be plenty of time for a drunken brawl, but today is not that day. See? Life agrees with me. Fine, I'll find someone else if you're gonna be that jumpy about it. My sincerest congratulations on your ascendance, your majesty. I know my grandfather was relieved as well to hear these matters of war have finally subsided. My citizens suffered for far too long under the crushing oppression of Zenoira's regime. Yet I know in my heart that your reign shall prove a far kinder one. It seems our time together has come to an end, Clive. Oh, they're not going to hook up? Indeed it does. This can wait, of course, until affairs in your territory have quieted down, but I wish to pay a visit to Marquess Nordheim, and I would be most pleased if you were willing to, perhaps, accompany me. I'd be glad to. I'm certain the Ash and Blue have struggles of their own as well. If there's anything I can do to aid in those struggles, simply let me know. I will. Thank you, Monica. Allow me to offer my heartfelt congratulations, Your Majesty. The crown of Cornea could belong to none more fitting than the man who helmed its very redemption. 10 long years have I clung to my spear, wishing that this moment would one day come to pass. Now it has, thanks to you. I've nothing but the utmost gratitude, my king. I pray you are watching over us, my parents. In due time our beloved province shall return to its bygone glory, as shall the home you gave your lives to defend. Have you come to survey the fort, my king? We'll be ready at a moment's notice if you ever have need of us. We're prepared to offer our lives in the name of our nation. How does that crown feel on your head, Alain? As the man who delivered Fevrith from evil, I imagine it weighs quite heavily indeed. If you try to solve all our problems at once, you'll lose your momentum before you ever even get started. And remember, my wyvern and I are always here to help if you need it. Best of luck. I'm sure you won't need it. Did you enjoy the banquet, Prim? More than I ever thought possible, yes, but what? I was so invested in the feast before me that I forgot to search out one of those coins celebrating Elaine's coronation. Events like these only happen once in a lifetime, and I was too tempted by the allure of sustenance to realize it. Don't worry, Elaine handed me 2 of them just a few moments ago. He did? I didn't realize my vices were that obvious. They are. I have to say, a nation with you as its king does sound appealing. Not that there's anything wrong with my own, of course, but your people will surely be happy living under the man who saved the entire world. I'm practically certain of it. Still, it feels strange talking to you like this. Now that you've become king, I mean. I worry I might accidentally say the wrong thing, or that others will criticize my lack of manners. It's a trivial thought, I know, but I can't help but think it. The good news is I tend to forget those fears entirely once you're actually in front of me. Okay, nothing on this north. Okay, are you the last two? Think so. 'Tis an honor to have witnessed this most special of days, King Alain. Ever since Senatio returned to us, he's spoken of nothing but your travels together, of the great lengths you went to in bringing this bitter war to a close. It seems to have filled him with an unwavering sense of purpose, both in his search for atonement and in the future of Albion itself. 'Tis clear as day the gentle kindness with which you lead your people. Thank you truly, not only for defending Lady Scarlet, but for accepting Senatio when few others would. May the Father's blessing ever grace your esteemed kingdom. Shall we be off, Senatio? Indeed, I believe I've said all I must to those I hold closest. And what of Alain? Or do you not wish to recount the praises you sung in his honor our entire journey here? Our savior is a king now, Sir Nigel, and not open to such sizable demands upon his time. I see there's no deterring your unbridled humility, even now. Yet you've come to these lands a dignitary of Albion itself. Any attempt you make to curry favor with Cornea's king can only serve to benefit our home. At least that's how we shall excuse it to anyone who dares complain. Is that truly necessary? I fear the subterfuge is merely a means to justify my own selfish desires. Perhaps so, yet remain discreet and your peers shall be none the wiser. 'Tis not their opinions of me which troubles me, but of the Father above. 'Twas a great relief to see you ascend the throne without incident. The crown of Cornea at last rests upon your head, of its rightful king. Of course, the future shall hold struggles unlike any we faced during our brief time together. I bear every confidence that one of your conviction will surmount them with ease, such as your station as the savior of this world. Are you certain it was wise to leave our basilica unattended, Sir Nigel? More than, my knights are capable of defending themselves, a fact you're very much familiar with. Moreover, what sort of leader would decline an invitation penned by a king? I suppose you have a point, yes? Not to mention your irksome tendency of shouldering the nation's burdens yourself. 'Tis better you have a companion at your side, to shoulder them with you instead. Thank you, Sir Nigel. Rest assured all my worries shall find your ear from this moment forth. Good. Okay. I think that's it. So, we have a quest somewhere out in the real world, so this isn't going to be the final episode. We have more to do, and I'm probably going to be going for the platinum, so we may do this until we get the platinum trophy. So that means that we have to get to level 50. You know, we can talk about this in the next one. But for now, I think this is a good place to end. Thank you all for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.
I'd like to give a very special shout out to my patron supporters: Darren York, ZTD, Knife Namaste, Chris Murphy, JW, Quinless, Vlado101, Bruce Wizzle, Black Mamba 90, Eureka Gecko, A Happy Fat Panda, Pato Kuto, Shadow Raven, Hannah Kate the Great, Emily Kuzanoa, Philip Dougherty, Timothy Jansen, Skip, Daniel, Yell, Naya, Turkeyfoot27, and Nadia N. If you would also like to join this tier or any others, check out my memberships or my Patreon in the description down below.